Hi guys, Colesy here, and today I'm going to be taking you through a new tool that I found called SheepChat. Here we are on SheepChat's website, and SheepChat is something I came across personally in my own streaming that has been very useful for me, and I figured it might be useful for a bunch of you guys, which is why we're talking about it today. SheepChat is simply a multi-chat for streamers, but it does have some cool options, some cool other features that I think will be very useful. It was super easy to install. You can download it from their website. They do have a premium and a free version. I personally have only used the free version currently, and it has been doing exactly what I want it to do. So let's go ahead and look at SheepChat itself. When we initially open SheepChat, you will have this screen here. It says you launch SheepChat not through Steam. I believe it is available through Steam, but I have not downloaded it via Steam. I have used the website. Want to continue with a free limited version or run it through Steam. So I assume this is its version of saying, do you want to use the free version or do you want to pay for a full version? So for me personally, I have just logged in as guest. That is what I have done, and that is how I set everything up that I'm about to show you today. So this is SheepChat. Now you'll see here, this is actually just the chat screen that we're looking at right now. Where all the cool stuff really comes in is when we go into the settings. So like SheepChat said, it is a multi-chat for streamers. It enables you to combine all of your chats if you're multi-streaming, which I did take part in myself. If you're multi-streaming to different platforms, or even if, like me, you're multi-streaming to YouTube, but as both a horizontal and a vertical stream, so you're doing two different streams, this enables you to combine all the chats, which makes it much easier for you to read yourself, but also enables you to then add it to your stream as an entire chat. So you don't have to have the chat separate. You can have, you know, if you're streaming to Twitch and to YouTube at the same time, or to TikTok, whatever it is, you're able to have all the chats from all the different places that you're streaming all in one place, which you can then use as a browser source on your stream to have the chat on screen. It's really, really useful. We'll start off here in general. Obviously, we have a bunch of options here. You can disable links, GIFs, images in chat, whatever you want to do there. You can change the currency. I assume that's more for donation kind of things, but again, it's not something I really touched on myself. Now, in terms of sound, you can set your playback device. Now, a really cool thing that SheepChat does, which I myself have been struggling to find a replacement for since moving from Twitch streaming to YouTube, I had a system where I used an application that would send a sound to my headphones when I had a message. Sometimes you're distracted in game, sometimes you're busy doing what you're doing, you don't always have your eye on chat, so I just had a little sound effect go off in my ears when a chat message came through. Now, when I moved to YouTube, it was a very different situation. YouTube access doesn't seem to have that kind of level that the Twitch access has for applications, plugins, all this stuff. So YouTube is a little bit harder to work with, as far as I can tell. But SheepChat has enabled that for YouTube. I can now have any message that comes through SheepChat. So that can be a YouTube message, a YouTube short message, a Twitch message, whatever platforms you're using, you can set a sound effect to come through your headphone. And what's important here with the playback device is I can have it set to a different device, a different track that isn't actually going out to stream. So stream will not hear the sound, but I can hear it in my headphones. So it gives me the notification to remember to look at chat without being an annoyance to chat itself. So I really like that. Here I have it set to my music audio stream, which does not go out to stream itself. It is only in my headphones. I've just called it music just for simplicity. SheepChat will also do text to speech, so you can change the volume here of the synthesis of speech. I don't know, that sounds like a complicated word. I'm assuming that's the volume. We go into emotes. We can use emojis. We can use built-in stream emotes. You can also add some emote packs. You can filter your messages. Again, this pretty simple. If you want to filter out certain things, certain words, certain phrases, whatever you want to do, easily done here. Notification. Now, this is where we can play with sounds that I mentioned. So you can have an interactive reactions, flying stickers. So you can have this kind of extra interaction when there is a event. You can also play the sounds when new chat messages come in. So I have it playing a sound file, but you can also have it play sound then voice, so it can notify you and then read the chat. And there's a bunch of stuff here you can play around with. Speech synthesis. So I personally have it disabled, but if you want to have text to speech, then you can use cloud voices. You can change playback speed. You can also change how it reads. It can read smiles, it can read symbols, it can enable message queuing. So they don't all speak to you at the same time. I assume it queues up your messages and will read them one after another. You can change your CPU. I just set this to maximum savings. I figured while I'm streaming, while I'm doing multiple things, I didn't want it to have too much of an impact. And also because I'm not using some of the animation effects, I'm just using it as a consolidation of chats. I put it on maximum savings, so it would hopefully use less CPU. In terms of authorization, now authorization is how you enable logging into different services. So you can see here that I have it logged into YouTube, but say I wanted to log into TikTok, you go here, you log into your TikTok, etc. Same with YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want to do. Now, that's not the same as the broadcaster, which is where you're going to be broadcasting your stream. So if we go to connection, you can see here that I have YouTube and gaming, and I have logged in as myself. So you can go here. This is how you add your different broadcasters. So here is a list of different places. You can see that some of them have exclamation marks, partly stable, for example, for Twitch. The built-in follower alerts don't work. Use an alternative notification. Again, we're just using it for the chat integration. Easy to do. You can set up all this stuff here. So you can see here, if I go onto my YouTube, you'll see that it has my YouTube and then my channel display name. Now, I haven't messed around with the HTTP server. I haven't messed around with proxy. This is all I did to set it up. Now, in terms of appearance, again, we go back to this. This is the chat window. This is your standard chat. So there are different modes. There is main window and there is game mode. Now you can see this one here is currently in main. I've disabled a couple things. I've enabled compact mode, which just removes this little bar up here, which I think just looks nicer personally. And indicators, again, is just down here, which is your viewers, chatters and stuff. I didn't really feel like that was necessary to be on, so I've disabled those. You can play with the theme, so you can go modern. You can play around with stuff like that. You can like change the background. You can do blending and stuff like that. I just left this as this was. Now, what I did do is I added this as a custom browser dock in my OBS. So SheepChat is actually already in there, and when it connects, then it will load up for me. So I don't actually have to look at this little window here. I have it in OBS itself. If I move OBS over here, if you go to docs and you can do a custom browser dock, and then you can put in the URL into here and label it SheepChat like I have. And that just means that it will then be able to be docked into OBS, which I find much easier. And I'll show you how to get that link in a minute. Now, I believe I used game mode as the browser source when I used it in OBS, just because it looked a little bit nicer. It fit a little bit nicer onto the screen. It's just a different look, basically. If we go to stream output, we can go to chat widget. And this is where you get the URL, which you will use for your dock if you're putting the dock into OBS. And it's also the widget if you want to put it in as a browser source so you can have your full chat. This is the link that you use. There's a bunch of themes built in. If we go to game mode, you can look here at all the different themes they have. They have different games and different themes that are built in. These are free to use. So you can go like CSGO and you can choose that as the theme, and that will then change the theme of the game mode chat. Now, advanced features, we can disable game mode. We can enable hardware acceleration. Again, I never felt the need to do any of these things because the chat really just worked pretty well for me. So there we go. That was a brief look at SheepChat. Again, it's something I have found very useful in the fact that I'm now streaming vertically and horizontally. It means I'm able to have the chats combined, which is super useful. And it looks a lot nicer on stream when everybody, no matter what platform they're on or what way of watching the stream they are, they're in that chat. And I think it does a great job at doing that. Easy to set up, so I highly recommend it. If you want to go check it out, there will be a link in the description where you can go check it out. So there we go. If you did enjoy today's video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment if you would like. I hope this video has been useful to you guys. I found it personally very, very useful, and a tool that I wanted to share with you guys after I came across it and thought, hang on, this is really useful to me and I didn't know it existed, so maybe it'd be useful to you. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time. Bye!